Good afternoon, children. We have completed the poem Road Not Taken, and you told that you understood the poem very well, and I know that you have written even the question answers whatever were given. Now, to make the poem more beautiful, the poet has used many poetic devices. So, the other name for poetic devices is figures of speech, and it is also called as literary devices. Whatever you use in the question paper, the question you may get any word. Whatever word you get, you are going to write about whatever you are learning now for this Road Not Taken poem. Now let us go with the rhyming scheme first. Now rhyming scheme is nothing but the rhyme words what are there in the poem. So if you look at that poem, this is the first stanza. In this first stanza, if you look at the last words, would, stood, both mean the same. They rhyme. Okay, would, the sound, and stood, the sound. This is the phonetic script given there. And if you look at the word would and stood, the last the sound is same. And again could, the sound is same. And both and growth, the sound. So that is the sound. This is nothing but the phonetic script. So as the sound, the sound is there, you are giving it a name, and the sound different from the sound, so you are giving it B name. The sound same as this one, so again you are giving A, and the sound A, and the just like second one, so you are giving it B. So the rhyming scheme for this stanza is A, B, A, B. Now in the same way, if you look at the remaining second, third, fourth stanzas, you can find out whether the poet has used the same rhyming scheme in the other stanzas or he wrote in followed some other rhyme scheme. So I want you to do that now. Take a break, pause the video, complete that work, and then watch this again. Okay? Next, metaphor. So what is a metaphor? See, whenever you are looking at the word metaphor, immediately you get confused between simile and metaphor. So this is nothing but the comparison between two things that are not alike, but they have one common thing there. And in simile, they will be using like and as words. For example, he is like a lion. Okay, and if you take this metaphor, it is just declaring. That means he is a lion. He is not like a lion, but he himself is a lion. That is metaphor. You are taking that person completely and telling that he is a lion, not comparing, keeping that in him. So, not showing any one quality. He is not as brave as a lion, but he is a lion. Now, in this poem, The Road Not Taken, you will find all these metaphors. Nature is also used as a metaphor in the entire poem. And in the beginning, the woods are yellow, meaning the autumn season. And they look. This could be a metaphor of making decisions during the fall of the year, life, or when they are getting older. So, autumn season, and the poet is looking at the two roads, which is telling about the decisions or the options what we have before we take a decision. Okay, and then autumn season, yellow color depicts that it is autumn season. Autumn means fall of the leaves, which means death. So last stages of the life, at that time the poet is thinking about to take a decision. So everything is about this, everything is about the metaphor there. Now imagery. Imagery is nothing but the words the poet has used to make us get the picture, imagine. So any sense organ can be triggered, like eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and the skin. Any sense organ can be triggered by those words. That is imagery. What we are getting, the pictures when we are reading that. Yes, two roads diverged in yellow wood, we can get that yellow wood forest picture, and then the two roads diverge, and then the way the poet wanted to travel in that. So all that you can imagine that, and the poet standing there and looking to choose what is that we have to do, and then look down as far as he could, so that he could decide which road he had to opt. Okay, so all that will tell us about the imagery here. We are dealing with only first stanza, children. Afterwards we'll go for second, third and fourth stanzas. Okay, now symbolism. Symbolism means symbolically representing something else. Okay, so here the yellow wood is symbolically shown that autumn season, and then the poet was in the last stage, which means very old, and then two roads are related to the decisions that are to be opted. Okay, so all these are nothing but the images what we are going to get, the symbolically using these two words. Almost both are, we are taking same examples. The difference is imagery means the picture what we are getting when we are reading that. Symbolism means using that, what is it the poet wanted to tell us. Okay, yellow wood, he wanted to tell us that autumn season and the old age. And then roads which are diverged, the decisions what are there in front of us. So symbolically, and then he used those words. Now this is something different, poetic license. See, license means getting permission to do anything, right? You can't have a gun without taking a license. And then here the poets have license whenever they want to write a poem, like ambulance. When you are going, you have all the rights to overtake the traffic and cross everything and go, so that your aim is to save the patient. So here the poets also have that kind of license, which they can pass out all the rules whatever are there in when we are writing a practical, when we are writing any essay. But when you are writing a poem, you have all the, you can overcome all those rules and write the poem in a very beautiful way, using beautiful words and not following the rules and regulations. For example, when you want to tell that long I stood, then immediately they will tell that no, it's not correct. You have to write I stood for a long time there watching the road. But you are not writing that. You are writing, the poet is writing here long I stood. If you write that, you are not going to get marks. But when you are writing that in a poem, it is correct, because you are using that poetic license, because you are looking at the rhyming scheme, you are looking at the beautiful word, and you are looking at the number of syllables in each. So maybe anything, you have all the rights to alter the words in any way you like. You need not follow the syntax and or anything else. Now parallelism. Parallel, you know that already. Here parallelism means when the poet constructs the parts of sentences, and when he wanted to tell the same thing in a repeating a specific word in the or a phrase to tell some idea, then that he is going to follow this same kind of grammar word and repeating that. For example, look here in this, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler long and strong, and look down one after one as far as I could. In all these three lines, the poet has started with and. So as this is the grammar word, and we call it as a parallelism, following same thing there. Next, antithesis. Antithesis literally means opposite. So what is opposite in that? The poet has told two ideas. One he just told one idea, and afterwards he completely contradicted that and told some other idea in that. Two opposite ideas were put together in a sentence to achieve a contrasting effect. Completely opposite. So antithesis emphasizes the idea of contrast by parallel structures of the constructed phrase and clauses. Means when the poet wanted to use this antithesis, generally they will follow even parallelism also, using same type of grammar. Okay, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. So he wants to travel both on both the roads, which is not possible. It is impossible for him. And then he used parallelism there, and completely opposite words are used there. Now, children, in this first stanza, we have come across all these poetic devices. Rhyme scheme you know, metaphor you know, imagery you know, symbolism, poetic license, parallelism and antithesis. We have come across all these 7 types of poetic devices in this. Now take a pause and write all those whatever you have learned from taking the examples from the first stanza only. Okay? Rhyming scheme, you need to write second, third and fourth. Okay, but remaining all, take only first stanza and do that. Now, take a pause and complete that work and then go for the next slide. Now, simile. I already told you that simile is the comparison between two things and the poet is going to use as and like they. So, a simile is a phrase that a comparison between two different things and shows a common quality between them. It uses the words of comparison which include like as, like, as, so as, all these words. Now, as cute as a kitten, as funny as a monkey, as light as a feather. These are the examples. Now, what are there in this poem? Then he took the other just as fair. So, what is the meaning? It shows how the poet has linked the road less taken to the easy way through life. When we are in the life, whenever two options are there in front of us, we opt for the road or the choice which is easy for us. Okay, that's what he wanted to take, just as fair, as everybody will do that. Okay, that is as fair is the simile there. Now, personification is giving human qualities to non-living things, inanimate objects, animals and even forces of nature. Anything, if we give human qualities to that, then that is called as personification. Sometimes it is used to give even human feelings also and actions to the animals. Human feelings and actions also will be given to the animals. Now here the example is because it was grassy and wanted wear. It refers to the road. Okay, the road which the poet opted there, chose there, wanted to go. What he was telling, grassy and wanted wear, means the road is very grassy and the road wanted to be worn out, means the road is personified there. Here the poet is giving human qualities to the road, telling that it wanted to wear it there. Alliteration is the poetic device where 2 or 3 consonants are used in the same line. The consonant sound is used in the same line, not the consonant. Now look at, good example for this is tongue twisters, that she sells seashells on the seashore. Sir sound and sure sound is repeated there. Okay, now here in the poem we got because it was grassy and wanted wear. Now I want you to go through the poem and find out if there is any other alteration in the next stanzas. Now antithesis, and in the second stanza also antithesis is mentioned there. Now entire second stanza you will find this antithesis. Here the poet is telling that one path was better because it was less worn. Then he says that the people passing through that worn out depending upon the number of people passed. Both the roads are equal, which means more people walked on that road, so more worn out. Less people walked on that, so less worn out. But to tell that, what did he tell? Passing there, but both equally as per number of people walking on that path. So first he told that the path was wanted him to go on that because it was less worn out, and then he told that both were equally worn out. That is one. And then in third stanza also you find one more antithesis. What is that? Oh, I kept the first one for another day, yet knowing how way leads to way, and I doubted if I should ever come back. The poet knew very well that he can't come back, but even then he was telling that I kept that road for some other day. I want to go on that road on some other day. And again he told that I know very well that it's not possible for me. So opposite ideas were being expressed even in the third stanza. Now, onomatopoeia. means the words that came into existence because of the sound what they were making. Like pitter patter, when the raindrops were falling, the sound what it make. And then cuckoo, the way the sound was coming. Splash, okay. And then all these words, and snake hissing sound, the way the sound makes the noise. So all these words came into existence because of the sound what they were making. So in this example, I shall be telling with a sigh. Sigh is again the word that came into existence because of the sound that is made by the people. And then repetition, the words which are repeated to give good poetic effect. Somewhere, ages and ages hence. The poet wanted to tell that after many days, many months, many years, he wanted to tell the time. So he chose ages and ages repetition there. Now, if you look at the poem, the entire poem, you find that the diverged roads are mentioned there. So, at each stage, the diverged road, everywhere, that entire poem, it got extended. Same metaphor is extended in the entire poem. So, that is why this entire poem is called as extended metaphor. That road diversing concept is used in all the second stanza, third stanza also, and even in the fourth stanza. So everywhere it is continued. That's why it is called as extended metaphor. Look at the way what he wrote. Road is used as a metaphor and as an extended metaphor. The road is splitting. This is a metaphor of the choices what we make in our life. The fork in a road is used as a metaphor throughout the poem. It is termed as extended metaphor. In line 6, where the person is thinking of taking one road but takes another, this is a metaphor for thinking of your choices before deciding. Before you decide what is that I should take, you will think about that when the choices are open. So he is the entire, that roads concept is extended, is in entire poem. That is why it is called as extended metaphor. So now in second and third stanzas, we have all these poetic devices. Second, third and fourth stanzas. Simile, personification, alliteration, antithesis, onomatopoeia, repetition. Oh, I also wrote repetition again. And extended metaphor. Okay, only one is there, ma. So all these, what are there in the poem? You just go through that and go back the poem and read and write about all these poetic devices, whatever are there in second, third and fourth stanzas. So first stanza you find almost 7, and in the second, third and fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, again 7. So altogether 14 poetic devices are there. First stanza of 7 are there. Write that and then go for 2, 3, 4 and then complete remaining 7. Okay? Thank you, children.